Dragon Age: The Veilguard is shaping up to be one of the biggest releases of the year. Not only is it the return of the beloved Dragon Age franchise after a 10-year-long absence, it's also looking increasingly like the action RPG is going to be the return to form that BioWare fans have been hoping to see from the studio for what's felt like an eternity. Based on everything that we've seen of it so far, and we've seen quite a bit, there's no shortage of reasons to be excited about Dragon Age: The Veilguard. And here, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about, as we go over some of the things that we absolutely cannot wait to get to as soon as we hop back into the magical world of Thetis. Dive into the character creator. The character creator is often such an important part of the experience in RPGs, especially RPGs of this kind, and the Veilguard is making grand promises in this area. Plenty of details have been revealed on it so far, and clearly the toolset is going to be an expansive one, with a vast amount of options providing players great control over what their rook looks like. People can often spend literally hours in a truly good character creator, and it's looking like the Veilguard is going to deliver on that front. Play as different races. Again, this is often a core part of the experience when it comes to Dragon Age in particular. Humans, elves, dwarves, and Quinari all have unique places and statuses in the world of Thetis, which means the way that the world and its denizens react to them change accordingly. Having your experience be affected by the race you're playing as in that fashion is always fascinating to see. Hopefully the Veilguard will take things further than its predecessors in this area. Play with different origins. Origins are coming back in the Veilguard. Sort of. No, you're not going to have a unique prologue section for each backstory, but there are going to be 6 unique backstories to choose from. When creating your rook, you'll choose between one of the 6 factions that you belong to, and each will affect the story, dialogue, and interaction with characters in various ways, both big and small. BioWare is promising meaningful differences based on what faction you choose, and we're definitely excited to experience that for ourselves. Experience all the classes. Of course, in addition to your race and faction, you'll also be choosing your class. And in true Dragon Age fashion, there will be 3 main classes on offer with Warrior, Rogue, and Mage, with several subclasses that'll become available later on. As fans of the series will know all too well, the classes that you choose also make a huge difference on your experience, not only where the gameplay is concerned, but again, also in terms of the story and your interactions with characters. How well the Veilguard will be able to deliver in that area is something we're very keen to find out. Experiment with combat combos. Dragon Age started out very much as a CRPG, but over time, the series has moved away from that increasingly. The Veilguard is going to be a much more action-driven game than any of its predecessors, with the exception of Dragon Age 2 maybe. But it's also promising plenty of pause and play tactical action. Party members are no longer controllable, but like in Mass Effect, you'll be able to pause the action at any time to bring up a radio wheel from where you can issue commands and unleash companion abilities. Specifically, in terms of combining attacks and elemental abilities, this is going to be a crucial part of the combat loop, and it's something that we can't wait to experiment with, especially as we progress deeper into the skill tree. Fully utilize Transmog. Gear and equipment will obviously have a big impact on your build and stats, but clearly Dragon Age: The Veilguard is all about giving players options, which means you're not going to be forced to wear ugly armor just because it makes your numbers go up. No, thanks to a Transmog system, you'll be able to equip any gear piece without having to let it affect your look, and you can be sure that we'll be making full use of that system. Get to know and befriend all the companions. The cast of companions that you meet and travel with are often the most crucial part of any BioWare game, and sure enough, the developers emphasizing that harder than ever with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. With 7 total companions to recruit and get to know, the game is promising a large cast of supposedly the most compelling and engrossing characters BioWare has ever created. That's something the studio is touting itself, and given its history, that's mighty high praise. Hopefully the game will live up to it. Hang out with Davons Griffin. One particular companion, Davron the Grey Warden, is going to be accompanied by a Griffin companion, and there's plenty of reasons we're excited to get to meet the majestic bird-like creature ourselves, particularly in terms of Dragon Age lore. Though Griffins were once strongly associated with Grey Wardens, they have been thought extinct for a long time, which is why this particular Griffin's presence in the Veilguard is so fascinating. Hang out with Manfred the Skeleton. Similar to the aforementioned Griffin, Manfred the Skeleton is another character who will be paired with one of the game's companions. Emmerich, a necromancer and member of the Mornwatch, will have a skeletal assistant in the form of Manfred, though the two of them have more of a father-son relationship, interestingly enough. That's a relationship that we're curious to dive into, while we also wouldn't mind just hanging out with Manfred. Explore the Lighthouse. BioWare loves creating hub locations that players keep returning to throughout the course of the game, from Skyhold in Dragon Age Inquisition to, of course, the Normandy in Mass Effect. In the Veilguard, the hub location will take the form of the Lighthouse, and knowing BioWare's track record in this particular area, we're more than a little keen to step into this location ourselves. Exploring the Lighthouse, watching it change and expand over the cast of the game, and hanging out with Rook's companions all over the hub is surely going to be a highlight of the experience. Explore Minrathous. Dragon Age fans have been hearing about the Tevinter Imperium for as long as the series has existed, but the Veilguard is going to be the first time that we'll actually get to explore the location ourselves. Understandably enough, series fanatics are excited to do that, which is why we too are chomping at the bit to explore every nook and cranny of the Minrathous, which is Tevinter's capital city. In what we've seen of it so far, it's looking like one of the most visually striking locations in Dragon Age history, so it definitely seems to be taking a promising shape. Meet returning characters. Each Dragon Age game tries to be at least sort of standalone, though each game also does bring forward plenty of threads from past entries, and the Veilguard is seemingly looking to strike that same balance. With a number of familiar characters set to return, Varric, of course, is going to be back, and though he isn't going to be a party member this time, Harding, who fans will remember very, very well from Inquisition, will be. Meanwhile, fan favorite shapeshifting witch Morrigan is also confirmed to be coming back. While meeting and befriending new characters is obviously something we're looking forward to, it's safe to say that seeing familiar faces again is going to be just as exciting. Meet the Inquisitor. Speaking of returning characters, BioWare has also confirmed that the Inquisitor, the protagonist of Dragon Age Inquisition, will also be returning. Dragon Age games do tend to follow such a pattern. For instance, Dragon Age 2 protagonist Hawke returned in Inquisition, so this isn't exactly new or entirely surprising. From a narrative perspective, however, the Inquisitor's return is quite exciting, not only because of the strong connective tissue with the previous game, but also because we might get some resolution for the character's story. Find out what's going on with Soless. Of course, the Inquisitor isn't the only Inquisition bigwig who's coming back. Soless was a key character in the game as well, and he's coming back, and we've known for a while. Inquisition's Trespasser DLC set him up as the antagonist in the series' next chapter. And hell, the Veilguard was even originally called Dreadwolf, which is what Soless is often known as. It's safe to say then that he's going to be a critical part of the story in the upcoming action RPG, and given how fascinating of a character he is, there's plenty of reason to be excited about that. Play around with photo mode. Let's end with something obvious, because photo modes are always fun, right? Dragon Age The Veilguard is looking like a beautiful game, and sure enough, we're going to take every chance we get to hop into photo mode and click a few pictures of its gorgeous environments. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.